Welcome everyone, and welcome to our first North America, Fiji North America investment webinar 2022. This event is proudly supported by Vodafone and our partners, Fiji Mission USA, Fiji Honorary Consul, Pennsylvania, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Canada, Fiji USA Business Council, and along with Fiji Airways and Tourism Fiji. From all of you joining in from Canada, UK, USA, Australia, New Zealand, UAE, American Samoa, and Fiji, a very warm welcome. Apology, and also unfortunately our Honorable Minister, Honorable Faiyaz Koya, who is away overseas, but however, special welcome to our panel of speakers, His Excellency Dr. Satyendra Prasad, the permanent representative and Fiji ambassador to USA and Canada, the USA Embassy representatives, the acting CEO of Investment Fiji, Mr. Kamal Chetty, the Director of Franchise and Development Honorary Consul, Mr. Bobby Naicker, and the Director of Pirates Paradise, Mr. Bruce Harbour. Before we commence with our program, there are housekeeping matters that we would like to that you need to be aware. Your mic will be remain off during the sessions, where only panel of speakers or mic will be on as we go on. But for any questions that participants that you wish to ask, you may type in your questions in the chat provided. But also there will be Q&A sessions as well that we will answer your questions that you type out as the presenters or also the speakers speaks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we shall now commence with our program by his recorded keynote address of the Honorable Minister for Commerce, Trade and Tourism and Transport, Honorable Faiyaz Koya. Thank you.
Dr. Satyendra Prasad, Permanent Representative and Ambassador of Fiji to the United Nations, High Commissioner to Canada, Honorary Consul of Fiji in Pennsylvania and Canada and San Francisco and Los Angeles, industry partners and business representatives from USA, Canada and Fiji, Acting CEO, Investment Fiji, Mr. Kamal Chetty. Ladies and gentlemen, Bula Vinaka, and a very good afternoon to you all, joining us from the USA, Canada and around the world. I'm pleased to join you today for the Fiji North America Investment Webinar and appreciate your interest in Fiji and the investment opportunities that Fiji offers. The investment webinar is a follow-on from the successful collaborations between Investment Fiji, the US Embassy and the Fiji USA Business Council, which saw the launch of the Fiji USA Trade Expo in August last year. The Trade Expo introduced Fiji to a wide audience in North America, particularly to interested investors and buyers, whilst promoting premium Fijian-made products and services. The outcome of the collaboration resulted in a number of inquiries or leads made by North American investors and buyers with Investment Fiji. There were over 500 website visits specifically for Fijian-made products. Today's webinar is another partnership between the two countries to showcase Fiji's capabilities, opportunities, and relevant incentives in real estate, tourism, manufacturing, and business process outsourcing. I am told there are very knowledgeable and astute speakers who will focus on investment incentives in Fiji, on how to start a business and opportunities that are available for investors. This is, of course, one of the many initiatives undertaken by Fiji to develop bilateral relations and enhance partnerships with both USA and Canada as principal investment and trading partners. Today's event demonstrates that we are continuing to build on this foundation for successful business collaborations. Fiji's economic activity picked up over the last quarter of 2021, backed by the Fijian government's unemployment assistance, easing of movement restrictions, and reopening of the international border. The restoration of cross-border trade and investment is undoubtedly vital in driving a global economic recovery. A return to trade and investment-led growth will hinge on creating enabling conditions for businesses to thrive. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fijian government is undertaking reforms which includes legislative reviews, especially modernization of the investment law, streamlining and digitalization of approval systems and processes. As the minister responsible for trade and investment, I'm personally involved at the helm of all the ongoing changes. We have information on starting a business available via the BizFiji portal, which also includes a number of other important information for businesses and investors. We are working on a digital process for applications and approvals. By the end of 2022, we will have starting a business completely online. This means that North American investors can start a business in Fiji by completing the registration processes from the comfort of your home or your office. Furthermore, the Fijian government and the US government efforts to strengthen bilateral trade and economic ties has been elevated by the Secretary of State Mr. Antony Blinken's visit recently. The Fijian government is keen to strengthen our market access for ginger, for turmeric and kava, opportunities for the caregiving industry in the US to recruit Fijian workers is also an important component of our relationship. And the US ICT and BPO sector also to consider Fiji as their outsourcing destination is certainly an important growth area. Fiji provides the ideal environment, workforce and incentives for US businesses to benefit. Our government-to-government engagement will be pursued for results. Results that will be mutually beneficial to Fiji and the US. Ladies and gentlemen, our presence here today illuminates our strong partnership and commitment towards redefining our relations. So with those few words, I now open the Fiji North America Investment Webinar and invite you all to take special interest on what investment opportunities Fiji has to offer. Vinaka Vakalewu.
Thank the Honorable Minister for his keynote address. We'll now have His Excellency Dr. Satyendra Prasad, the Fiji Ambassador to USA and Canada, for his remarks. Vinaka.
And good morning to everyone in Fiji. Good afternoon to people in North America. And I'm very excited to hear that people have signed in from countries beyond US and Canada. But Acting CEO, Mr. Kamal Chetty, our Honorary Consul in US and in Canada, and North American businesses who are here, and potential investors who are looking for opportunities in Fiji. Nisambula Vinaka, a very warm welcome to the first in North America and Fiji business seminars. We really hope and expect that this will become a series of webinars which will allow you to explore opportunities as well as have far more detailed discussions. But welcome to the start of this process. I'm sorry to have missed Minister Koya, but he has framed the discussion very well. We were together in meetings with Secretary Blinken in his historic visit to Fiji last week. I'm just coming back from Fiji myself, and I can reassure you that we had from Secretary Blinken a very firm, strong, and clearest support from the government of America to do all it can to promote trade and investment opportunities and two-way trade and investment opportunities between Fiji and the US. So these are very exciting times. We have not had this level of discussions at this level for a long, long time. As a follow-up from that meeting, there is a very clear commitment that our relevant government ministers and ministries and officials will be talking to each other on both sides over the next few months as a matter of urgency to ensure that those bottlenecks and issues that need to be resolved in increasing trade and investment opportunities between Fiji and the US are resolved as speedily as possible. And there was very clear instructions and guidance given from Secretary Blinken as well as commitment from our side. So this is very exciting for that reason. And the third is Fiji is at the start of a economic recovery. Fiji opened its borders on 1st of December. Fiji is open for, and using one of the co-sponsors line, Tourism Fiji is open for happiness. It is one of the finest destinations in the world, as anyone who's visited Fiji will know. But beyond that, Fiji's tourism sector offers some of the most exciting, fascinating, forward-looking investment opportunities for US businesses and US investors. And we encourage you to look at that in that. On the other side, everyone in US and Canada, I know you like the brand Fiji Water. You know what it presents to you. It presents value, it presents sustainability, it presents a very high standard. Fiji offers across its agricultural sectors, across its manufacturing sectors, products after products that can carry on that brand name, but also offer the same type of high standards that Fiji's manufacturing capabilities offer, Fiji's employees offer, and Fiji's incentive structures also offer. So the whole package, and I know Investment Fiji will walk us through some of the details, presents to US investors a highly exciting package of policies and programs and incentives that make Fiji a fantastic destination. And most of all to Fijian diaspora in Canada and US. We look forward to, we welcome, we marvel at the success we have achieved in North America. We marvel at the great progress we have made in North America. And we look forward to you bringing back some of those experiences and bringing back some of those things that you have learned in industry and in enterprise, etc., back to Fiji, and that you will look to Fiji as a suitable investment opportunity, not only because it is an exciting investment opportunity, but also it is your home. So we look forward to many of our Fijian diaspora in Canada and in the US coming back to invest in Fiji. So in all of these ways, I welcome you again to this webinar. We look forward to continuing many more conversations, and I know you have a very rich program ahead. CEO, thank you very much for inviting me to offer these remarks, and please do convey my best wishes and regards to the Minister. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your kind and all remarks. We'll now hand over to our acting CEO, Investment Fiji's acting CEO, Mr. Kamal Chetty, for his presentation.
Thank you, Lisala. Pula Vinaka, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. His Excellency, Honorary Councillors, reps from US Embassy, businesses, thank you very much for joining us. Afternoon in US and morning in Fiji. And we are glad, as mentioned by Honorable Minister, to continue with this relationship. With my presentation, I will try to explain to you some of the opportunities that exist in the country. But I guess it's also important, if you have any questions or anything, you can get back to us, and we'll be happy to connect you with more information and assist with the process. And also, Lisala and I are available anytime if you want to discussion. I've seen already a few questions coming in, so I think it will be an interesting session to talk about certain aspect of investment and also trade, which are important between the countries. And I'll take you through some of the opportunities, but also talk about what recently what's happening, especially on the investment environment. So Investment Fiji is basically the investment and trade promotion agency of the Fijian government. And we are responsible for assisting investors to set up business in the country. We are involved in investment promotion, export promotion, and investment facilitation. So if you're an investor and keen on doing business and require market information, market research, you can get in touch with us. Once you set up, we also assist you through the process of setting up a business here. So if you want somebody to assist you during that process, we have a team assigned that will take you through any challenges, any issues you have in Fiji. So what we're trying to do is basically make your journey as an investor easy in Fiji. So briefly, I think Honorable Minister has touched on this. His Excellency also has touched on it, but I'll go a bit in detail what has happened recently with Fiji borders opening up. What is the economic situation like? So officially, the borders opened on 1st December 2021, and the Fijian economy did contract in 2020 by 15.2%. Obviously, tourism was one of the major factors behind it, and 4.1% in 2021. But the Fijian economy, with the projection of tourism back in the country, borders opening up, restrictions being lifted, it's projected to rebound at about 11.3%, which I think itself will show a lot of opportunity for investors. But it also, I think, talks about the effort put in by government to really make things work, to assist investors to come back to the country. So with that increase in economic activity, I believe there will be much more opportunities for investors to look at. In terms of the vaccination rate, we are 92.6% fully vaccinated. Recent figures show 94,000 people have also received booster shots. Visa arrivals in Fiji increased by about 22,000. So that was almost the amount of visitors we received in December 2021. I was talking to CEO Tourism Fiji. There is much more optimism coming back, especially on tourism side of things. With North America, specifically US and Canada, it made up to 16% of the total visitor arrival in Fiji in 2021 December. And the list of travel partner countries have increased from only 20 to 58 countries. So I think we have much more people that are allowed to travel to the country now. In terms of travel requirements, I won't really go in detail on it, but we've already highlighted you the website that you can visit. So if you are coming into Fiji, there is no special requirement that if you are approved country, there is no special requirement for you to enter the country, but there is testing and other things that you have to do. But we've kind of made it easier for investors to travel in, and government is trying to easily now looking at in step by step removing some of those restrictions. That also allows businesses in the country to do much more stuff. They are able to, I guess, run businesses way better now, which was not the situation a few months ago, a few years ago. So I think with restriction lifted, there is much more economic activity in the country. You will see recent release from Reserve Bank in terms of businesses coming back, job uptake in the country, also investment, borrowing for investment purposes have increased. So that shows a bit of more economic activity in the country at the moment. And I obviously talked about those figures, but I also thought to maybe highlight some of the recent developments in maybe trade and investment. This is not the only development, but there is much more interest in investing in Fiji. I think one of the major one was Kava going into Australian market. That was recently announced. Also, world-renowned brand Como Group took over Lodala Island Resort. Australia's largest telco, Telstra, took over Digital Pacific, includes Fiji. Also, a Japanese energy firm taking over some of the shares as Energy Fiji Limited. This shows that Fiji has huge potential in terms of investment. And we are currently in negotiation with other large brands that are also looking at investing in Fiji that we'll announce very soon. So I guess I wanted to just generate some interest that COVID was there, but we also had some major interest coming into Fiji in terms of investment. Very briefly on the economic partnership, I wanted to highlight, so US remains an important export destination for Fiji. 2020, we exported about 302 million Fijian dollars, which was mineral water, kava, and turmeric. And mineral water showed a bit of decrease, but other products also showed a bit of increase into US market. We imported about 152 million worth of goods from US, and we received about 12 investment proposals. This is not the number which was before, so it has dropped from 25 projects to 12 projects, but we still see some of the interest still coming from US, and we are optimistic about it. So there's about 12 projects that came to us in 2021 in tourism, services, and real estate sectors from US. From Canada, we export to Canada about 7.2 million, import 8.2 million. Mineral water, ginger, mackerel, these are the major export commodities. We also have received some investment from Canada, but this is something we are willing to grow. And that's the reason for this webinar and this session. So we are able to attract those investment into the country. Investment opportunities, I will very quickly, as I mentioned, I won't be really able to explain everything, but if you have any question, you come back to us. We'll be happy to go through some figures, some business cases, some actual data that we can talk about when we talk about investment opportunities in Fiji. So one sector, and there's been a lot of incentive given by the Fijian government in recent budget to attract investment into the country, obviously for recovery. But I think the other important message I wanted to highlight for everyone is we're looking at diversifying our economic base, which means we're looking at new sectors, new opportunities, and new types of investment into the country. First sector, BPO sector, which has actually done well during COVID. From figures released by BPO companies, during COVID, they actually created 3,000 extra jobs in the country. And we're working with a number of firms that have shown a lot of interest into investing in Fiji. And there's few reasons behind it. One is obviously the low operational cost, the service culture, the infrastructure, and the language skills, plus the neutral accent. That has allowed various companies to look at Fiji as the next BPO destination, a business process outsourcing destination for their businesses. So we've got a number of companies that are keen, are opening up. It is projected to be a large sector in the country. We can employ about 100,000 people in the next 10 years, and it continues to grow every year. So we think there is a lot of opportunities for investors, and we're looking for a number of companies that, even in US, that are keen to explore business outsourcing into Fiji. And the government has given a lot of incentives on it. A 20-year tax holiday has been given. So if you invest in the sector, you don't pay taxes for 20 years. Another 25 years is given for development of real estate facilities, and 30 years to bring in new technologies, new cables, and other things. So that's the opportunity in a very brief on the BPO space. Another sector is tourism. Obviously, it's a traditional sector. It's an important sector for the economy, and with it rebounding, I guess there is opportunities coming back for investors to come and invest in the country. But it's not only the accommodation part of the tourism sector. I guess there is much more opportunities in things like sports tourism, cruise tourism, wedding tourism, retirement villages, medical, conference. All those segments of the tourism sector is very important to Fiji's offer. So we are really looking for investors that can come and invest on those aspects. And also looking at not only investing on the major tourism areas, but going on to other offers that have more value. So for example, moving into other places like Suncoast or Savusavu or other places in the country. And government is also trying to look at the infrastructure and other things that will support their growth. So under tourism sector, there's a lot of incentives. There's again a 20-year tax holiday. If you invest about $40 million, you get a 20-year tax holiday. There's a lot of duty concessions that are available. We have set up a team at Investment Fiji. So if you want to invest in tourism sector or any sector, we have an officer assigned for you that will assist you to the process. Agriculture sector remains an important sector for the country. Government is really pursuing for large-scale commercial agriculture investors that are able to invest in the country, but also at the same time use some of our natural products, which I'll talk about, are good products, are very high-quality products that can be exported back to US. So in agriculture sector, there's three opportunities that I always talk about. One is the hotel and resort sector, which itself imports a lot of products annually that can be grown in Fiji. So I think it's approximately, they spend about $38.5 million on these imported products, which I guess can be an opportunity for investors to grow and supply to those markets that are readily available in Fiji. The other one is, as a country, we import a lot of agriculture products. So these things like sheep, goat, cattle, even dairy products, a lot of them are imported in the country. A lot of cropping products are imported in the country. I guess that's where the opportunity is. So for example, rice, we annually import about 40 million worth of rice every year. So there is huge opportunity for an investor to really commercialize that sector. And I'm not saying only for you to start, but there is also a number of joint ventures. So with companies like Rice Company of Fiji, which is government state-owned enterprise, and they're looking for partners. So we can also connect you to those people. There's companies like food processors that are looking for partners. So you can always partner with them. They're already in the market. They're already investor ready. You can start and partner with them. And the other aspect of, I think, agriculture sector is organic farming. That is globally has become big, and US it's big also. So there is a huge opportunity for you to grow some of the products here and import into US market or North American market generally. So with that in mind, the government has given a 20-year tax holiday. So if you're involved in commercial agriculture, agro-processing, you also get a 20-year tax holiday that is given by government. Manufacturing sector remains an important sector, and I think it will remain an important sector. It continues to attract a number of investors, local, both foreign, and we think with our connectivity to the Pacific market, we have much more bigger market. If you're thinking about investing in Fiji, I'm sure you look at the market, but I guess we have other markets just beside us that are important. The island countries makes up close to about, say, close to 20 million market. So the market is not only Fiji, but I guess the broader Pacific, including Australia and New Zealand. So there is opportunities for you to look at fish processing plants, building and construction materials, cosmetics, textile and footwear, high-end furniture from mahogany, rain tree, and other things that we have available. Quality raw materials from our primary industries like fisheries, from agriculture, turmeric, ginger. There's a number of them globally that have done well, that you can add value to. So those are the opportunities that are available for you. And there is a tax holiday also available for investors to invest in agro-processing and manufacturing, 20-year tax holiday. Also, government is encouraging investment into pharmaceutical manufacturing. There is a company already set up in Fiji that manufactures pharmaceutical products for New Zealand market. So I think there's those kind of opportunities that you can take advantage of. And textile is one example. If I really go in detail on some of the success stories, one of the companies here, Mark One, they manufacture textile for the Australian market. So they basically specialize in sports jersey, and they have built a $50 to $60 million business out of it. What has happened is they take, because we are very close to Australian market, we do short runs and quick and smaller orders. That has allowed them to really tap the smaller market, smaller segment of the market. And because if you want to manufacture anything, for you to take it to Bangladesh or China with a smaller order will take a lot more time. But Fiji offers that flexibility, I guess. So they've done really well. And there's a lot of other commercial examples that we can share with you when you talk about, especially in manufacturing sector. Fisheries and forestry, I mentioned aquaculture. We have a lot of resources in forestry sector like mahogany, pine, sandalwood, teak that can be used turn into a value-added manufactured product. And there's a number of opportunities that arises in the sector, and a lot of incentives given, especially like in fisheries. If you talk about aquaculture, annually we import a lot of prawns, crabs, and other things. But I think there's much more opportunity for Fiji, for you to use our blue economy, which is our oceans, very clean ocean, to grow seaweeds for global markets and other things. So there's all these opportunities, and government is really keen on to exploring them. And we'd be happy to take you through that, what really the market is, what is the opportunity with some figures, and what is the cost and all those things involved in it. Health sector, I think, remains an important for everyone globally, and Fiji also has become important. So we're looking for investors that can do pharmaceutical manufacturing, medical tourism, specialist hospitals. There is a number of movement in this area. So there is opportunities for investors to partner, and also, I guess, to open their own facilities. So this is a sector where we are trying to attract investment, and there's a lot of incentives, 20-year tax holiday given by the government, also on things like establishment of auxiliary facilities that are linked to hospitals or tertiary care facilities. You can also qualify for 20-year tax holiday in health sector. Other sectors, so I'm almost done with my presentation. Other sectors that government has given incentives, a lot more focus on retirement villages. There's incentives given on it. I've talked about this. Recycling business, there is also a lot of incentives given under that. There is also a number of other sectors that the government has given incentives on, like warehousing, cold storage facilities. I guess those are all those things that gives you a number of opportunities that arises in the country, and government is really wants to keen in developing those sectors. So I guess those opportunities are some things we can discuss in detail. I guess there's some questions that people want to ask, but I think we'll take question at the end of the session. You can type your questions. We'll be happy to take that as it comes on later on. And if you're an investor keen onto exploring, those were some of the opportunities that we think exist in the country. But I think most importantly, our role is also to connect with the local economy, local investors. So we've developed something known as the Investment Symposium. The link is there. It has got tourism properties that are for sale, commercial properties that are for sale. There's 60 joint ventures that are available in the country. So some people have resources. So we are trying to connect all those dots. So if you're keen on to investing something which is already investor ready, we have developed this website and you can explore, get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to connect to the local investors. And just finishing off, I think what I wanted to talk about is Fiji has a very good opportunity of good value proposition for investors. And I've just explained to you in a very overall form of the opportunities, but I guess as an investor, you're keen on to more on the data for you to make decision, bit of business insight on the opportunities. So we would be happy to assist with that. But I think overall, our low tax rate, our connectivity, well-educated workforce, a number of incentives given by the government, access to bigger markets, allows us a preferential access to bigger markets, allows us to makes us a good investment destination, and we would be happy to assist you. This is one of our email address, but you can get in touch with me, Losana, anytime to talk and explore more opportunities, and we'd be happy and keen to assist with it. So thank you very much. And over to Losana, and we'll take questions later on, definitely.
Thank you, Acting CEO, for your presentation. It's a very broad and also clear in terms of insights and in terms of business and commercial aspects and various sectors. I'm sure participants, you have a lot of questions that are coming in. So we'll be answering these questions as we go along in the Q&A sessions. And some of it, our staff are also attending to it, simple questions that they're able to attend to. But nevertheless, thank you again, Acting CEO. For now, we will invite the testimonial from Mr. Bobby Naicker, the Director of Franchise Development and Honorary Consul of Fiji to Canada. So welcome, Mr. Bobby Naicker. Thank you.
Thank you, Bulavinaka. Firstly, I think the political climate in Fiji is the most balanced it has been for many, many years. The government and the opposition are both aligned in promoting business opportunities in Fiji, and that's a wonderful thing. I think in the past, maybe we've struggled with that, but it puts us in a really good place, having the government and the opposition aligned that Fiji is open for business, Fiji is open for trade. With over 93% of Fijian citizens being double vaccinated, this makes Fiji one of the most safest countries in the world to live or to do business in. So I think that politically we're in the right place. I think that safety is at the highest level in Fiji, and that is also a very wonderful thing. Ambassador Prasad alluded to this in his presentation, the fact that Fiji has taken steps, the Fiji government has taken steps to remove red tape. I think, we may as well address it, that in the past there has been some red tape that has maybe precluded people from doing business in Fiji or trade in Fiji. But the government has done a great job, I think, in establishing the removal of these red tape. I know that Ambassador and I, and at several meetings, we've spoken about meta experts who will be responsible to entertain business from overseas investors. And I think that's something that we've been wanting to hear for a very long time. Also, as you know, globally, there's hesitation to do business in China, just for some of the reasons that of the past few years. And the fact that India now is moving away from manufacturing to technology. So this puts us in a great place in Fiji. Fiji is very rich in labor force and as well as the expertise. And so I truly believe that we're now set to take on trade and to have investment in Fiji. Another reason for trade within Fiji is the fact that the government has made, and I know Mr. Chetty spoke to this, and there's much more on the website, that investing in Fiji has become very lucrative, from the tax breaks to other incentives. And I think that anyone who's ever wanted to do business in Fiji, this is the right time. And I ask that you go to the website and really understand all of the benefits of doing either trade with Fiji or doing business in Fiji. Thank you.
Mr. Bob Naicker, for your testimonial and also good comments in terms of investment climate into Fiji. So now we hand over to Mr. Bruce Harbour. Mr. Bruce Harbour is an investor, foreign investor from USA, and has been in the country since 2016. And he enjoys his investment doing business, particularly in Savusavu Bay. So he runs a tourism-related business that goes into mega villas and also yacht charters and yacht services. So we'll now hand over to Mr. Bruce Harbour in Savusavu.
Good morning, Lisala and everybody. Thank you very much. Welcoming from Savusavu, the beautiful town and known as the Hidden Paradise. Just going to give a brief overview of how I discovered Fiji. As early as 2013 or 14, I was on my sailboat sailing around the world, and I came on a trip from Tonga to Fiji, and I remember rounding the lighthouse at Cousteau's Resort and looking at the beautiful houses and the beautiful bay and thinking to myself, how cool would it be to own one of those houses? Never knowing at the time that I would actually own a business and a property in Fiji. We found the properties, and it was very easy with Investment Fiji's help to be able to purchase the properties and start a business with a lot of good incentives. I own 2 tourist accommodations, the Pot House and the House of Bamboo, which are relatively close to Cousteau's Resort. The Pot House is a honeymoon destination. It's only for 2 people, but a lot of privacy, and it is very popular. House of Bamboo is a little higher up the hill, and that accommodates 5 people. And it has been a successful business from the time I owned it in 2016 until now, obviously apart from the 2 years of COVID where we had no guests, but it is definitely picking up a lot since the 1st of December. You know, the biggest thing I like about Fiji is the people. I cannot say how nice the people are, and to experience it, and the true feeling of freedom, and feeling at home and feeling like you belong in this community. So it's an honor and a privilege to be a part of the community and call this home. And so based on that, I highly recommend, you know, any foreign investors, especially Americans and Canadians, to invest in Fiji. It has been a great experience for me. There are a lot of incentives, as I said, from Investment Fiji. And mainly you're investing in a developing country from a developed country. So you're helping the local economy and the people. So based on that, I would highly recommend it. I personally had a great experience. And also, I still own my yacht that I came in on. It's a 44-foot catamaran. And we offer the tourist guests, or any guests, trips around the bay. And that has also been a very successful business. So if you have any questions about my business, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Harbour, for your testimonial. Great business running out of Savusavu, tourism-related and in services as well. So there are questions that we can see that coming on the screen, so we will attend to it when we have the Q&A sessions, which we will answer those questions directly as we go along. But nevertheless, thank you again, Mr. Bruce Harbour. We will now give a time to the US Embassy. If you have any comments or any remarks that you wish to allude across to the investors listening in across from Canada, USA, and across the globe.
Sure. Hello. Austin Lewis here. I'm the economic officer with the U.S. Embassy based in Suva. I'm relatively new here, but we have a strong team, not only with the Department of State, but also the Department of Commerce. And they are mostly based in Sydney, Australia, and they cover most of the Pacific. However, they're for any U.S. citizen investors or any U.S. corporations interested in putting their money or their businesses in Fiji or in the region. Always feel free to be in touch. commercialsuva@state.gov is our email address that we use here. But our friends with the Department of Commerce are also very, very happy to offer their services. Some of them are for fee services, some of them are not, but they're able to put you in touch with potential business partners. So happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Austin. I guess now we'll start with the question and answers. We've seen a lot of questions, so we'll try to definitely take some of them. And if we're not able to, we'll get back to you. I think the first question is, maybe His Excellency, you can talk about it, is one of the questions we've got from Savusavu is on any talks around Kava entering Canada market. Is there any potential? Is there any talks going around that? So I don't know if you'll be able to answer that, but maybe you can give some insight into it.
So I can't answer that straight away, but yes, we have started discussions. Because of COVID, I have not been able to visit Canada, but we will be making our first visit, I hope, in April or May, when we will have discussions about regular exports into Canada. So we are fully mindful of the constraints exporters face today, and it's on our horizon. But if I can also take this opportunity to mention CEO to colleagues that it is our thinking, and it's early thinking. We only discussed last week that Minister Koya and there will be a trade a mission of some sort to US and Canada in the first quarter of this year. And for all of those exporters who are trying to think about entering into these markets, it would be good to channel your questions and queries and difficulties to you, CEO, so that that can be part of the trade mission. We only had initial discussions. The dates and other things are not confirmed, but we will be advising you.
Thanks, His Excellency. We'll definitely get those views. We've actually, I think last week we've been speaking to a few people about this, Kava into Canada. So I guess those will be, part of those, I think, negotiations and talks. We've got a number of questions. I'll try to answer some of them. Is investment Fiji is the only help investors can help exiting investors? So I really don't get the question, but says, is investment Fiji is the only to help new investors or can help existing investors? I think with us, investment Fiji is here to assist everyone. We also assist local businesses. So a lot of people associate us with foreign investors only, but I think with just before COVID, we started this. We've done a lot of focus on assisting local businesses. So if you look at our customer base, it's now almost 50-50. So in our aftercare, 50% of them are local businesses and 50% of them are foreign businesses. So if you need any help, we also assist exporters. We'd be happy to facilitate. So we have set up a team that is specifically assisting investors and exporters in that journey. So to answer your question, we do assist everyone. And I think there is also somebody asking us who is the best contact for medical tourism. So please get in touch with us. We'll be happy to connect you to the right person. And if you are keen on to exploring more. We've got a lot of information available with us, but I guess they are experts in those areas. We'll be happy to get you connected to. And I think there's another question on with the poor road condition and disruption to water supply. How guarantee will Fiji government provide to investors to get this fixed? So please get in touch with us. I won't say that wherever you are, I don't know what your situation is, but we'll be happy to facilitate that for you if you are facing any issues with infrastructure. So for example, with Investment Fiji, we've got currently 43 projects that we are assisting with infrastructure issues, with issues with government departments. So if you've got anything similar to that, we'd be happy to assist you during that process. And I think another question is, what are the prospects of Fiji BP operators gaining traction in North America? So we've already started discussion on this. I guess we have a very strong value proposition. We have set up a BPO Council of Fiji that looks after BPO operators both as customers and also new entrants into the market. And there's a lot of incentives and other things given, which has actually made Fiji or have a very, very good value proposition, which will definitely get traction from some of the, I think, larger BP operators in the US market. And it's not something new. We've started doing a lot more work in that space, and we will definitely try to get more people in. And we know with US, what's the market size like, who are the bigger players in the market, and how do we approach them. So we really planning to enter US market with a lot more, a value proposition that will definitely get some BP operators to Fiji. And I guess, Losana, those are anything else? Yeah, a lot of people are thanking His Excellency for this, for this session. I guess they are happy to hear that the conversation happening. So I guess they are happy that we continue to do this discussion. So from our side, we'll continue to have this discussion, and I think this is a start. But we're definitely looking at many more sessions, I think, which will assist you to give you much more insight into the market.
If I can also add in to potential investors, I do not know if you are sharing the emails or contact details, but please do share contact details. Sorry, Mr. Naicker, our Honorary Consul in Canada, whom we've just heard speak. Not sure whether our Honorary Consul in Los Angeles, Mr. Bindi, is logged in, and Mr. Singh in San Francisco. They are all not only the Honorary Consuls, but they are hugely successful business people in North America. So they understand the business environment in America, and they also understand the business environment in Fiji. And so they will also be able to provide you with tips and understanding on how our systems work, and also help you make some initial introductions, etc. So please do reach out to them as well, and CEO, if you can share the details as well as my own.
And thank you, His Excellency. We will definitely, after this session, we've got all your email addresses. We'll send you the presentation, also contact details for you to get in touch with any of us. And if you have any queries in those markets, or you're looking at new opportunities. So I guess, Losana,
Thank you, Acting CEO and Your Excellency. Yes, as alluded earlier, we are taking note of some of the questions that have been asked on the chat, and also the email address. We know that Your Excellency, we will share your email contact with those asking from participants, and as well as presentation will be shared with participants and all of you attending the event today. But however, nevertheless, we will come to a close of this event. No other comments that anyone from the panels that you wish to allude across to the participants. We'll give now another time to the panels if you want to make any further comments before we come to a closing of this webinar.
I don't have any further comments. Any other comments?
I don't think just that there's any further comments from the panels, but however, we will come to a closing of this webinar. So His Excellency, the Permanent Representative and Fiji Ambassador to USA and Canada, Dr. Satyendra Prasad, representative from the US Embassy here in Fiji, a panel of speakers and also participants. On behalf of Investment Fiji's acting CEO, Mr. Kamal Chetty, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for your time and effort in making it today's webinar. This is one of the first webinar to come and targeted at North America, that's USA and Canada. Your support and participation in today's webinar shows the need to promote and create awareness on opportunities for investments that are available here in Fiji. So to the participants, you are the engine of investments. This event was for you, and thank you for taking your time to register and joining in today. Before we close, the event was proudly supported by Vodafone and also our partners, Fiji Mission USA, the Honorary Consul in Pennsylvania, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Canada, the Fiji USA Business Council, along with Fiji Airways and Tourism Fiji. So thank you for your untiring support towards making this webinar successful. Fiji is a brand, as also mentioned by the panel earlier on by His Excellency. Fiji is a brand on its own, and we'd like to maintain that and take the momentum or take it to a high level in the near future with a level of support. So with those closing remarks, before I say thank you and Nisa Mode from here, the information will be shared on the screen in terms of email address, info@investmentfiji.org.fj, and also we'll be in touch with you. Also, the market manager for USA and Europe, Mr. Reginald Saran, his email address also will be shared, and also we'll be in contact with you all. So with those closing remarks, we and see you soon. Thank you.
Okay, everyone. Thank you very much.